The Ottorino Center for the Arts is proud to partner with and present the Fatherhood Manologues, a collection of Hartford area men who have participated in a transformational program run by My People Community Services. The Fatherhood Manologues seeks to highlight the importance, value, and contributions of fathers through their involvement and presence in their children's lives. Especially during COVID times when families are being put to the test, these men, through introspection and dedication, have worked to heal, connect, and become the best fathers they can be. Enjoy the Fatherhood Manologues and join the Zoom for a community discussion after the event.
Okay. So this year for the Fatherhood Manologues, we're doing it on February the 10th. And I've officially named today Fatherhood Manologue Day. And February the 10th is my father's birthday. And I thought that it would be wonderful to have all you great fathers come up and share your Fatherhood Manologues on the day that my father was born, because I thought my father was a great father. And so for me, you know, as a father myself, I often try to emulate him. And I want my children to think of me similar to how I thought about him. And so, or think about him. I still think about him. I was literally saying, I got a phone call today, and it was something for work, and I was saying, what they really want my dad. Like the thing they asked for was something my dad would like really do a great job with. And so, I just want to say to you guys, I appreciate you being a part of the Fatherhood Manologues. I love our brotherhood. I love when we see each other, we always seem happy and there's joy. And I appreciate the work y'all put in, especially, you know, coming up here, and y'all always are consistent. And I think that that's what fatherhood's all about. Showing up, being consistent, and being a good brother, a good friend. And so I just want to dedicate this entire performance today to Abdul Rahman Muhammad. And I just want to let them know that we're always thinking about you and that we love you. And so, Fatherhood Manologues, Daddy, this is for you. Peace. When my kids were little, every time I came home from work, they would run to the door to greet me. I mean, as soon as I opened the door, they would just come running, providing me with hugs, kisses, and the cheer of, Daddy's home, Daddy's home. I would walk in the door and get jumped on like a ride. Sometimes one would be riding my leg while I walked like Frankenstein, and the other one would be scooped up in my arms, getting chomped at until he or she screamed. Or I would pick them up, spin them around, and throw them on my shoulder like a bag of potatoes. As I took off my coat and hung it in the closet, I would say, I'm gonna get you. And they would take off running with excitement, laughter, and joy. Every day, consistently for years and years, I would come home to my biggest fans. I hear the cheer of, Daddy's home, Daddy's home, and then the pitter-patter of little feet running to welcome me home with love. Genuine love. The kind of love you don't have to think about, you just know it's real. Unconditional love. You know how your grandma makes you feel. Crazy, out of control fandom love, like a Knicks fans after that John Starks dunk. The love was so encompassing that even the dog tried to get into it. He'd be so excited to see me that he'd almost knock me off my feet with his dog love. To be honest, over time, I downplayed all that love. I took all that love for granted. Imagine me coming home, deflating my children's loving energy because I was on the phone, not paying attention to them. Or if I sarcastically said, okay, good to see you too, guys, as if little kids don't hate sarcasm like everyone else. I put them down before they got spun around, or held their hands and walked them in the house instead of letting them ride my Frankenstein legs, taking all of the excitement out of my return back to them. You know, you can't have to love. Love should always be like a hug from my grandma. When she hugs you so tight, you wonder how she got so strong. And when you walk away, you feel her embrace forever. I'll tell you, it doesn't take forever for children to change. One day they're your biggest fans, and the next, I can't recall the exact day it happened, but I walked in the house one day and my children were nowhere to be found. I mean, they were in the house, but they weren't at the door waiting for me. After a while, I had to start walking around the house to find them if I wanted to see them. My son was usually in the basement playing video games, and my daughter was in her room doing something. When I said hello, her response was the peace sign. Nowadays, I enter the house only to my dog Brownie. He doesn't jump up anymore and almost knock me down. It's more like an elevator pitch while I take off my coat and walk to my room. He's like, "My man, good to see you, big guy. How was your day? I was just wondering about a walk or maybe some food. Yeah, the kids didn't give me any food and they didn't clean up the poop. Okay, made it to your room, I see. How about a belly rub? No? God bless you. Have a good day." What's crazy is I was once the greatest of all time. The fans loved me. I mean, my kids loved me, and they showed it. Daddy's home, they cheered. And then in the snap of a finger, my daughter doesn't do hugs, and my son is a gamer. Also, in case you don't know, teens are all experts at sarcasm. So now I know how the, "Okay, good to see you too, Dad," hurts. Listen, I know kids grow up and find new teams to root for and new ways to show love. But if I would have known the last time was the last time, I would have cherished every step from the moment I walked in the door and they jumped on my Frankenstein legs. I would have scooped them up and chomped at their little bellies. I would have spun them around a little longer. I would have laughed with them while they still thought I was the funniest guy in the world. I will say, when my little daughter's in the mood, she can be an absolute joy to be around, and she sings like an angel. And my son, he gives the best hugs. Not as quite as tight as my grandmother, but he does this rocking thing. Right now, I would do anything to hear them one last time, like when they were little. "Daddy's home, Daddy's home." But I know that's not gonna happen anymore. Maybe my dog Brownie was on to something. When love almost knocks you off your feet, sometimes it's okay to fall down.
I'm a father, a proud father of 4 beautiful children, 3 girls and a boy. I love my children. I love them more than life itself. They are the apple of my eyes. Every moment with them brings so much joy, and every moment away from them breaks my heart. I love them so much. I love them when they fail to listen to me. I love them when they fail to do their chores. I love them when they break my things. I love them when they talk me into spending money I did not want to spend. Let me tell you about my kids. My oldest daughter, Lucia, she wants to be an architect. Can you believe it? My baby girl wants to design skyscrapers, bridges, and affordable housing for low-income family. Oh, I forgot to mention, my twin girls, Emma and Emilia, I've been told they look like me. My Emma, she wants to be a freedom fighter, a modern-day Harriet Tubman. I love it when she said, "Daddy, let's take it to the man." As for Emilia, she wants to be like Mommy. She wants to be a social worker and change the world one kid at a time. As for my son, well, he's only 4. I'm not sure what he wants to be yet. But one thing I know for sure, this boy loves to dance and he loves his mama. I love these kids and I'm so proud of them. So proud of them. I know they love me too because they say so themselves. They say they love Dad when Dad disciplines them. They say they love me when I take away the tablets and they don't get their ways. They say they love dad even when dad is not at his best. But yet, in the midst of such love, there is one question that lingers in my mind and sometimes keeps me up at night. And that is, if I were to die today, what will they say about me and how they will remember me? You see, in order to understand why this question is constantly on my mind, you have to understand my own relationship with my father. I grew up in Haiti in a very conservative Christian family. I was one of 7 children. And ever since I could remember, my father has been a preacher. Needless to say, church was priority number 1 in our house. My father spent a lot of time at the church, serving the people. He spent so much time there, sometimes I wonder if he loved them more than he loved us. If he cares for them more than he cares for us. There will be time I will catch people talking about my father, and I will wonder, are we talking about the same guy? The preacher was funny, outspoken, uplifting. This guy I rarely got to see and experience at home. Looking back, I think that the reason I became heavily involved in church was so that I could see my father and could spend time with him and experience that Superman side of him. My father never attended any of my soccer game or basketball game or any of my plays. Church came before anything else. I know more about the preacher than I do about the father. The preacher, I know. I can talk about him for hours. I know his favorite scriptures, I know his religious joke, and his theological understanding. But not so much the father. The father is a man of few words, rarely shown any emotion. In fact, growing up, I can't remember him ever telling me that he loves me. The funny thing is, 6 years ago, I too became a preacher. I'm also a therapist, which means I work long hours and late hours, just like my father used to. This scares me. I love my father. I think he's a great man, but I don't want to be a father like him. But I'm afraid that I might be. I want to be a different kind of father, though. I want my children to know more about me, the father, than they know about the preacher or the therapist. My father believed that he had a sacred calling to serve the church and serve the people, and he was great at it. I, too, believe that I have a secret calling. Being a father is a secret calling. God has favored me and blessed me with these 4 wonderful children, and they are priority number 1. It is my secret calling to be a good father to them, to love them, to make sure they are safe, to help them reach their full potential. I know there is no perfect father, but every day on this earth, I'm committed at working at being the best father I can be. So, if I were to die today, if my kid were to talk about me, let them say, my daddy was a good dad. His favorite color was blue and brown, and he likes ice cream. Let them say he liked to play soccer and listen to jazz and gospel music. Let them say, my daddy came to our games and coached our soccer team. Let them say, my daddy joined our taekwondo class. Yes, I know he wasn't good at it, but he tried. I guess he wanted to be with us. If they ever talk about me, let them say, my daddy came to our plays and took us to the library every Saturday. My daddy played Legos with us and would get dressed up for our tea parties and would let us paint his nails. Let them say, my daddy would wash our hair, but he was not very good at braiding our hair. Let them say, my daddy will read us bedtime story at night and help us with our homework. If they ever talk about me, let them say, my daddy taught us to say please and thank you and to always take care of self, take care of community, and take care of family. If they ever talk about me, let them say, my daddy worries about being away from us, but he was there more than he could ever imagine. Let them say, We love our daddy because he loved our mommy. And by the way, our daddy, he was a preacher and a therapist too. Thank you.
Since I got my son in the crowd, I'll start with the quote from Mark Twain. When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant, I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in just 7 years. I know what y'all thinking. That young man finally realized how wise his father was. But in my case, it was totally different. And I'll tell you why. Because when I started out on the journey of fatherhood, my perception of what fatherhood was, what it would mean for me, what it means for my son, is totally different from today. And it's because of some of the lessons I learned. I thought it was all about being the teacher, the provider, the wise one, the boss. I thought it was all about me and what I could teach him. But after a while, I would say a long while, I found myself asking the question, who's really teaching who? Because it slowly dawned on me that he's as much of the teacher as I am. At least he can be. That's if I let him. You see, when I was a young guy like him, a 17-year-old, my mind was focused on playing ball, being outside at all times, hanging out with friends, you know, the regular 90s stuff. I thought that was the only way to be. And I expected him to be just like me. As a matter of fact, I assumed he would be. And if I'm honest, at the time, that's all I wanted him to be. You see, I had visions of my son being the next Kobe or Mike Vick, me trying to live my dreams through him. But as he grew older, instead of taking interest in the hobbies and the things that I loved, instead of being this super extrovert and having the mindset that I had at his age, I realized he's more of an intellectual, interested in philosophy, music, and mixed martial arts. And you know what? I realized that's fine. In fact, it's more than fine. It's perfect. It's the way it should be. And when I think about it, over the last 17 years, I've learned so many important things from my son. I've learned how to listen. I've learned how to compromise. I've learned how to connect. My son even taught me what an armed triangle is, the pros and cons in different types of governments, and the significance of MF Doom and hip hop. Listen, y'all, I love when he lets me in his world. It's funny, I never thought Daniel's son could teach Mr. Miyagi. And for that, I'd like to say thank you to my son, Milan. Milan, thank you for helping me understand what fatherhood really means, what having a son really means. And Milan, I'd like to say how proud I am to be your father, of the young man you've become and the incredible man you're on the path to be. And Milan, most importantly, I'm proud of you for being yourself, no matter what I tried to impose on you. And I love and respect you for that. I heard it said somewhere that every father should remember one day his son will follow his example and not his advice. And so I hope I'm slowly becoming that example, an example in which in the present and the future, you'll know sometimes when you're perceived to be the teacher, you're actually the student. And I say this, Milan, as you embark on your own journey through life, through love, and who knows, maybe even through fatherhood. And as you embark on that journey, I'll be there every step of the way in any capacity you need me. Thanks.
When I'm alone in my room, Sometimes I stare at the wall. In the back of my mind, I hear my conscience call, telling me, stand up straight, son. You're looking sharp today. That was my grandfather talking to me, John Lee Sherrod. He's the man who raised me, taught me how to be a father, taught me how to be a man. He also taught me about perseverance. He worked at Pratt & Whitney and drove the school bus full time for over 30 years. That's perseverance. He was also married to my grandmother. And if anybody knows my grandmother, she is no joke. That's perseverance as well. Now, I'm a father of 2 great children of my own, Zymiah and Demetrius Jr. I love being their father, but there are times when I look back and I realize if I didn't have my grandfather as a real model, I would have given up on a few battles. Let's take a look at one. October 27th, 2006, my baby girl was born. We call her Mimi. It was amazing seeing her face for the first time. But we had a problem. Or let's just say I, the father, had a problem. You see, me and Mimi's mother had moved on from each other before we realized she was pregnant. It never really hit me until the day my daughter was born that I realized I would be leaving the hospital empty-handed. No baby, just pictures. No baby, just pictures. Why? What if the father has the better environment for the child to succeed? I was told by society, that's just the way it goes. But you see, that wasn't enough for me. So I started fighting for my daughter. I started filing court papers. As a matter of fact, I filed a lot of court papers, year after year after year. All of them felt like failed attempts. I couldn't even get my baby girl 50% of the time. I was told by the judge, Mr. CHAMBLEE, you're asking for way too much. We don't do that here. I stressed to the court, I'm not a weekend dad. I'm a parent-teacher conference dad. I'm an everyday homework dad. I'm the take the kids to the doctor dad. After years of fighting in court, I received a call one day that broke me down to tears. The caller stated, "Are you Demetrius CHAMBLEE?" I said, "Yes, I am." "I'm calling from the Department of Children and Family. I'm told you have Zymiah." I said, "Yes, I'll be picking her up today after school. Why?" She stated, "I'm sorry, Mr. CHAMBLEE. We believe your daughter is in a dangerous environment while being at her mother's house. And we will have to take temporary custody of your daughter." Wait, hold on. Are you telling me you're going to take my daughter away from me because of something that happened at her mother's house? "I'm sorry, Mr. CHAMBLEE. We'll be at your home at 4 p.m. to remove your daughter." DCF came and they took her. I could not sleep. I didn't even attempt to go to work. I cried, telling my baby girl that DCF was coming to take her away from me. In the back of my mind, I still kept thinking about how my grandfather always persevered. So me and my wife, we met with DCF to give them a better picture from our point of view. I thought about my grandfather, and then I thought about me. So I told them, I've been employed with the same company for over 10 years. That's perseverance. I went and got my college degree. That's perseverance. And I've been married to my wife for over 10 years, and she is no joke. That's perseverance as well. You see, I believe it's hard to catch something you can't see. I'm glad and thankful my grandfather gave me a real model to be. Fathers, when you're given the chance to persevere, hopefully you'll think of me. The very next day, after meeting with DCF, they went to court and made a special recommendation, and custody was vested in me. And this time, I didn't leave empty-handed. I left with my daughter.
My father, Elbert Lee Gray Jr., was one of the most inspirational men ever in my life. He taught me the greatest lessons there are about being a man and about being a father. And I am forever grateful for what he has given me. So I want to share 3 moments that kind of shaped my life with my father. Moment number 1. It's summer in 1987. I'm 5 years old, sitting in the front yard with my sister as my mom overlooks from the front steps of our house. And I see him come around the corner. And I know it's him because my father has a very distinct smile. All his teeth are hanging out, gold caps and everything. But today is extra special because he's in a shiny red van. And as he pulls up and parks in front of the house, my sister and I run to the street and greet him at the passenger door. Once he pops the door open, we're in there. Jump over the seat, take a left, run down a little hallway. Never seen a hallway in a van before. Immediately we see a sofa, so we jumped on it because we had never seen a sofa in a van. And then there was a table that we sat at as my dad yelled to the back, "Get ready, we're hitting the road." Now, I already told you guys this is a very special day. And that's because we went to McDonald's, which is right around the corner from the house. And we had the Happy Meals. Even better than the Happy Meal is a strawberry milkshake. And we drank all of it. As soon as our bellies are full, we enjoy that ride home. I think I even fell asleep on the couch. And what I remember from that day is my dad's smile as he pulled around the corner in his brand new red van. I also remember my mom's face when she saw that red van. So either he paid too much, but she probably should have went with him to pick it up. Moment number 2. I'm in high school. Of course, I'm home today because I've been suspended. And I'm listening to California Love and Tupac Battle Biggie and just enjoying myself when the phone rings. Elbert? No one ever calls me Elbert. Seems like you've had a bad day. As a matter of fact, it seems like you've had a bad year. And I'm thinking, you need a change, my dad says to me. And his words resonated because I know he's serious and he means business. And I listen on as he describes sending me to Alabama to live with relatives and finish high school. Moment number 3. 34 years old. After a long day's work, I didn't get that phone call from my mom like usual. So I head over to see what type of day she's had. When I get there, there's no cars on the street. It's just me, and the house seems empty. I walk up to the steps. My mom greets me at the door. We walk inside. and she's already got the 2 glasses of wine poured. And this is where we sit so she can tell me about her day or the antics of my sisters and siblings and why she's mad, why she's happy, and give me the notes on the family gossip. And I'm really just there for the wine. But today, my first sip was taken alone. She didn't join me. She just looked at me. I didn't catch it at first. And then she goes, Al? No one calls me Al but my mom when things are serious. I said, what's going on? She slides me an envelope on the table. And as I open it, she tells me that my father passed away. But I've learned life's tough lessons because of the inspiration of my father, because of the mark that he's left on my life. I take it like a champ. My dad's no longer with us. And all I remember is walking out, jumping in my car and screaming and crying all the way till I get home. And just when I think I can't pull myself back together, I see my son's face pop up at the front window like it does every night when I come home. When he opens the door, I have no choice. I grab him, I give him a hug, and I tell him how much I love him and how much how I'll always be in his life. And I share these 3 moments with you guys because they're the only 3 moments that I ever had with my father. The only 3. You see, in that summer of 1987, when my dad pulled around the corner in that shiny red van, it's the first time I remember seeing him. And yes, we went to McDonald's and had the milkshakes with the Happy Meal, but he left his son behind and continued traveling. And of course, when I was getting in trouble in school, he called and he wanted me to move to Alabama with him and my grandmother to start fresh. But that's the last time I talked to him because he never talked to my mother, never made any arrangements, and was not there for me, period. And then my father passed away, and I was distraught, but I didn't know why. I had no idea why I was so upset over the death of a man that I had never met until I saw my son at the front door. And now I don't have just one son. I have 3, followed by a Tasmanian devil known as Harper, which is the baby girl. And every day I think about what my father gave me. Because he left, I realize the impact a father has on a young man or a young child. So I will never leave. And because he called me when I was doing bad in school, I now show up for my children's school. I coach wrestling on the wrestling team. I'm a football coach. I own a small business in town, and I support my children, my family, and my community the best way that I can every day. And when my father died, it hurt. It put something deep in my chest and on my mind that life does not last forever. That these moments that I've shared with you will never be repeated, and all we have is those memories. So now I cherish every moment I have with my family, and especially my children, to know that I'm responsible for shaping their lives, to helping them be curious, to sparking their creativity, to challenging them, to knowing that they can do more and that they should follow their dreams because I didn't have that. And if I could see my father today, everything I have inside wouldn't mean anything. I would hug him, tell him I love him, and tell him that he's the most inspirational man that I've ever had in my life. Thank you.
JJ? Yes, Dad. I need you to clean your room, son. Yes, Dad. Dad? Yes, JJ. Why do I always have to clean my room? Because understand, son, that if a man doesn't work, then he shouldn't eat. Yes, Dad. JJ? Yes, Dad. It's time to go to church. Yes, Dad. Dad? Yes, JJ. Why do we always have to go to church? Because, son, you have to understand that there is someone greater than you. He is the only one greater than you. And you have to take time to give him reverence. Because when you reverence him, you understand that you are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. You are the lender and not the borrower. You are created in the image of God Almighty. And because you are created, you are the creator. Because he is king, he has given you dominion over all the earth. You dominate. You are anointed, you are blessed, and you are covered by the blood of Jesus. Dad? Yes, JJ. You think I can make it to the NBA? Well, son, nothing beats a failure but a try. What does that mean? It means that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And it means that if you don't take that shot, then you already have your answer. Dad? Yes, Jessie. I think I'm going to ask her to marry me. Are you sure? Yes, Dad. Well, understand this, that when you ask her to marry you, that everything is your responsibility. If she decides to leave you, that's your responsibility. If there's no food in the kitchen, that's your responsibility. And one day when you have children, my grandchildren, they too will be your responsibility. And there's no getting out of that till death do you part. Yes, Dad. Jessie? Yes, Dad. I'm proud of you, son. You are now a grown man with children of your own. You're making an impact in your community, and you are raising the next generation. Savannah? Yes, Daddy. I need you to clean your room, baby. Yes, Dad. Daddy? Yes, baby. Why do I always have to clean my room? Well, because a virtuous woman is skilled with her hands. Daddy? Yes, baby. Sarah? Yes, Daddy. It's time for us to go to church. Yes, Dad. Daddy? Yes, Sarah. Why do we always have to go to church? Well, because you must understand that there's someone greater than you. Understand that he is the only one greater than you. And you have to take time to give him reverence. When you understand who he is, then you understand who you are. Understand that you are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. You are the lender and not the borrower. You are created in the image of God Almighty. And because he is the creator, you are creative. Because he is king, he has given you dominion over all the earth. You dominate. You are anointed, you are blessed, and you are covered by the blood of Jesus. Yes, Dad. Daddy? Yes, Sadie. You think I can make it to the NBA? Nothing beats a failure but a try. I rarely watch TV, but when I do get the opportunity to, I often pay attention to the father's role in the family. Unfortunately, nowadays, fathers are often relegated to the babbling buffoon who is bossed around by the mother. But I'm grateful to God that that was not my experience. I had a father who showed us what real love was. Although there were times that I prayed to God he wouldn't love us so hard, I understood that we were loved hard for a reason. We were loved and we were taught to be tough guys and gentlemen. My father was a man who did not graduate from college and still doesn't have a degree to this day, but he made sure that his 2 sons between us have 5. I'll never forget when my diploma came in the mail. I ran to my room. I ran to his room, and he was laid on the bed talking to one of his friends. And I gave him my diploma, and a single solitary tear came down his face. He got choked up, and he told his friend that his son, his oldest son, his firstborn, had just graduated from college. I've only seen my father cry a handful of times. One time was when my grandmother passed, and when I graduated from college. The mark of a great man, of a great father, is that his sons want to emulate, no, they want to transcend his work. My father taught my brother and I how not to only survive, but how to thrive as black men in the United States of America. We learned to be focused, to be diligent, and committed to what we believe in. He taught us to love our wives by how he loves our mother. He is still teaching us as we watch him transcend and transition through the ages and stages of life. He is the epitome of black fatherhood. Thank you.
Growing up as a kid, I never understood fatherhood. I would think about being adopted and not knowing my biological father. About all the times I questioned if I looked like him, acted like him, what he does for work. Does he know I exist? Will I ever meet him? But now, when I think about fatherhood, I think about the man that raised me, a man's man. Rarely showed any emotion. Taught me how to fish, taught me a trade, taught me toughness. Always took care of his family. The many times he said, "Now keep, I done showed you how, do it like I did." I realize now was his way of saying I love you, even though I didn't come from him. I realize how much wisdom he has, how his dedication to his family and his craft is the exact thing that I want to emulate. This man lights up every time he sees me, and I know how blessed I am to have been raised by such a great man. Blood doesn't make you a father. Your contribution to a child's life and well-being is what ultimately makes you a father. When I think about fatherhood, what comes to mind is me thinking I was doing the right things. I was providing for my child, but those same means of providing separated me from my child. I think about all the times I failed. I think about the times I disappointed my daughter. I vowed to never let her down, ever again. Found something recently she had written in 2016. It said, "My dad is my BFF. I love him so much." She was 10 years old then, and she's 15 now, so things are a little different, but she's my BFF. I tell my daughter every single day that I love you. Make sure she knows that I will do anything for you. Watching her grow and come into her own is one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had. There's no manual on fatherhood, and if there was, I doubt that it would prepare any of us fathers thoroughly enough. Fatherhood for me is about learning from my past while changing in the present to create the best future possible. Blood doesn't make you a father.
Superfly, you're gonna make your fortune, bye-bye. But if you lose, don't ask no questions why. The only game you know is do or die. It seems like yesterday, listen to Curtis Mayfield blast out of my father's black Cherokee Jeep. It was a day similar like today, and I can never forget my 13-year-old mind wanted to listen to Crisscross to make you jump, jump, the Mac Dad to make you jump, jump. And boy, did I want to jump out of my father's black Cherokee Jeep as we approached downtown near that sneaker shop. I would have my hand just anticipating that moment when I could just come out of that car as I approached that sneaker shop. And my father would look at me. He said, "Kevin, hold on." It was like he could read my mind. When he was parking, he looked at me through the rearview mirror and he said, "Be patient, son. The road is busy. I would need your hand before we cross the street." My 13-year-old inner voice groaned, "Oh no, I'm too cool to be holding my dad's hand, and I don't want the girls to see me like this." My father got out of the Jeep and closed the door. As my brother and I patiently waited for him on the sidewalk next to the Jeep, he said in a calm and collected voice, "Hands." I remember being a little hesitant about giving my dad my hand. He looked at me and he said, "Boy, don't let me embarrass you out here." Reluctantly, I gave him my hand. As we approached the busy intersection, he turned and looked at me and said, "I know you are 13, but no matter how grown you are still my son. And I want you to understand one thing." He said, "I want you to understand one thing, that I love you." And he would say those 3 magical words repeatedly throughout my life. "I love you." Followed up with that hug and a kiss on the cheek. "I love you." You see, my dad taught me that saying, "I love you," is part of being a man. You should not be ashamed of saying, "I love you." My father understood those 3 magical words very well because, see, my dad's parents rarely ever said those 3 magical words to him. It became important to my father to tell his children those 3 magical words, "I love you," and truly mean it. When I was learning how to ride my bike and I fell and started to cry, you told me, "Get up. You can do it. I love you." Followed by that hug and a kiss on the cheek. When I was in school and I said, "Dad, I can't do this schoolwork. I'm in special ed." You said, "You are my son, and I know you can do this. And remember, I love you." When I was learning how to drive at Weaver High School's parking lot, you told me, "Be patient, son. Take your time. I know you can do it. And remember, I love you. And when I was struggling in college, facing so many obstacles and adversity, you told me, you are a booker. And remember, son, you are a booker. And when you start something, you finish it. He said, when you start something, you finish it. Followed by that all familiar hug and a kiss on the cheek. When I was going through all those trials and tribulations my family faced and the things my father went through, Dad, I knew you loved me. And Dad, I have always loved you too. But those trials and tribulations that we faced together made me have to put on my fatherhood shoes at a young age. I never asked to be a father, Dad. It was hard through these years. In middle school, I remember covering up for you while you were dealing with the demons on your back, just like a parent protecting their child. And in my 20s, I remember when you lost everything, and I mean everything, and you were in and out of rehab for 5 long years. And I worked hard to stay connected to you and help you through those challenging times, Dad. And in my 30s, I remember visiting you in prison and sending my support to you and encouraging you to stay strong. And although it was not easy to take on that fatherhood role through my younger years, I never once doubted that you loved me. And Dad, now I understand that you were a child raising a child. And I want to thank you, Dad, for your commitment and being a father and never giving up. Never giving up. And your vulnerability taught me an important lesson about the impact that saying, I love you has on others. It is empowering. It is protective. And it is eternally bonding. And I plan to continue, Dad, this powerful legacy of saying, I love you, and demonstrating that to my family and to my children and to the future generations of bookers to come, to my mentees, and to other men as well. You see, Dad, I understand what you were demonstrating through all those years and all those trials and tribulations. The power of those 3 magical words, I love you. I love you. But with all the effects of systemic racism and oppression that leaves homes without black fathers, I pledge to continue being a father of my village. I pledge to continue being a role model in my community. And I pledge to continue demonstrating the power of saying those 3 magical words to my family, to my children, to my mentees, and to other men. I love you. You see, Dad, when the dishes got dirty, I got Cascade. When the weather was hot, I got a spot in the shade. When I needed support and I was at my lowest, I heard my dad say, I love you. Dad, I thank you. I thank you for being that young man when you were 17 years old and saying, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue on. Maybe I didn't have all the things that I needed, but one thing I'm going to make sure is that I tell my son, Kevin Booker Jr., that I love him. I love you, Dad. Thank you.
Check it out. So we want the truth as much as we want it to be dope. So just because it sound good on paper just because it sound good in beats don't mean it belong on the page too. So we're gonna start off by growing up and see where that takes this fool. Growing up, I heard you was a cool dude, but I was only able to admire from afar. Silent drives, weekends to your house, and Spanish music wasn't playing in the car. You ain't speak much. Well, me either. Maybe that's why communication grew hard. Or maybe it was because you wasn't home where I was told father's supposed to be from the start. Oh, hold on, check it out, first cross. That line was dope, but it's going too far. Run it back. All right. Growing up, you ride around the block almost as if tires on road was a remedy for sleep you knew. Bro, I'd forget so much, so at some point you got me a camera too. Almost as if you knew I'd hurt for not remembering, so you try to give me the tools you use. Now that I think about it, you even got me my first car. So if I needed to, I could leave like you. If I ever wanted to uproot, I could just do that and then reroute. But in that sense, I only leave when I hurt, just like you. And it's like I'm reminded more of the pain when I think about it, and I'm reminded I'm just like you. And any complaints I may have, bro, that's something I gotta think about if I ever want one too. Want one too. You hear this dude? He talking about having kids with all the work he gotta do. Aight. Either way, run it back. Think about how the two of you are alike. Aight. Just like you. I found out you was a writer years after becoming a writer, so I'm just like you. I even spent the summer grinding to burn poems into metal with air pneumatic tools, so I'm just like you. I'd be too tired to fight the world, so right after work, I just go to bed and lay with my shoes. Cause I'm just like you. Fast forward multiple summers, now you see this fool out here graduating school, just like you. Actually, just a minor mistake, you the first to be finished in school, and you can't really blame him for the struggles around then because toward that end, not even Ma was there too. So, what else you got for this dude? Is it because I'm just like you that I walked away from love just to be a successful fool? Man, why I gotta be just like you? I wish I could open up more, shed a tear or two when my heart feels blue, but I'm just like you. I'd rather suffer in silence instead of. Hey, check it out. If anything, he taught you all the things not to do. You decided to break her heart and leave too. Plus, all them lessons weren't in school too. And everybody y'all both knew was from a broken home too. Desolate, broken homes, walls filled with memories hiding in holes. Air chills, this winter, no working stove. I love to call this vacant, but it's my home. Lights flickering, setting the tone. One more plug in and lights are gone. I love to take it to heart, but I got strong bones. Look at how we living while he got a green grass in a yard with gnomes. Man, my daddy dropped us off with bodies unknown to leave from they souls. I got something to say about that. You really gonna sit here and trying to blame him for all that's around your home? You hear sirens every day. He ain't the reason for them being called. In fact, you should be proud of him making it out the ghetto and making it on his own, even if he had to make it on his own. He the first man you know to buy a house, hold the job the longest, and still while tired following his passions. Bro, before he's your dad, he is his own man. You can't know him for who he was, but just respect him for who he is. Someone who serves his community with all the actions and efforts that he did. It'd be selfish for you to ask more of him when he already gives all of the world who he is. What you gotta say about that? That's true. That's true. So, I'm not old enough to know my dad for who he is today. My hands haven't plucked enough petals. My hands haven't grinded enough metals. My hands haven't blistered enough while holding torches leading the way. My hands haven't collapsed enough in times to pray. In fact, all I can say about my dad is he snapped photos and told jokes, chipping off the weight of our people. He captured joy where it's never lived, creating moments to grow from when we are feeble. He'd capture one smile in one frame, one memory at a time, saving one heart, one start, one moment in time. He'd tell the figures in frame, déjame ver esa linda sonrisa, and the children would blush, and mirate tan macho, to give the non-smiling men a chuck. Man, if only I had let him make me smile in one frame to capture one memory at a time. I would have had a change of heart from the start, and it would have saved us this time. And that's all I got, learning about my dad while I write. With much love and respect, peace.
Good morning, young king. It's your father speaking. It's 6 in the morning, and I can't stop thinking. See, you haven't been born yet, so I'm speaking to you through your mother's belly. I can't wait for you to come home, cat, because me and you, we go together like peanut butter and jelly. And yes, young king, one day we'll travel the world, but don't get it twisted. You see your mama? She's still my chocolate swirl. I got so many things to teach you. You know, father and son things, like how I was gonna name you my junior, but I wanted you to have your own wings. Now, never shake a man's hand when you're sitting down. Always keep a close circle. And remember, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Always keep your word and look every man in the eye. And most of all, young king, when it comes to your queen, never tell a lie. Because the lie you will hear in this country is that you, my son, are not enough. They'll weaponize your skin, assume you're guilty before they put you in handcuffs. Now, there's a place deep inside of me that wants to tell you to dress nice and talk white so that you're not viewed as a threat and everything will be all right. However, I'm not raising you to be somebody else's boy. I'm raising you to be your own man, to stand up, 10 toes down, and take care of your own fam. And you feel that blood beating in your chest? That comes from kings. You, my son, are the reason the caged bird sings. Now, never doubt yourself, and always remember whose you are. You're your daddy's son. That means you're powerful beyond measure. You're a leader. You're a protector. You're special. You're loved. And one day you will change the world. Now, I know what you're thinking. You like, Dad, that's a lot. Well, son, there's a burden to greatness, and it's lonely at the top. Now, I'm not saying I want you to be some type of celebrity. But what I am saying is I want you to grow into a man of integrity. And if I have one wish, it will be to make you better than me. Now, nothing's going to be given to you in this world. You're going to have to work for everything in this life. But promise me this, when times get hard, you will focus your eyes on Christ. Because it's going to be hard to be my son because my expectations are high. But it's going to be harder when I'm gone. So I'm preparing you for when I'm die. Now, I know I'm getting deep, but you're my son. You're my legacy. You're the one to carry my last name. So I want you to hear this. I, your father, love you with all my heart. Mason Malik Champlain.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. In my 21 years of living, this is the first time I ever get to tell you this. As I'm thinking, I find myself typing and deleting because I want this one to be perfect. I'm fitting it all into however many characters Instagram allows. But I'm asking myself, why now? What's different this time? Why do I feel the need to make up for all the I hate yous, the I don't cares, the why didn't you ever come back, the pain, the uncertainty, and the doubt, and as of 1 year ago, the forgiveness? What's different this time around? Growing up, I always told myself that you walking out of my life never made a difference, and quite honestly, it didn't, because I was a kid, and I had a mother who did everything in her power and then some to make sure that I would grow up into the man that I am today. However, during these past few years, as I've been transitioning into manhood, I've realized that there are certain things that men can only learn from other men. It's all good though. I've outsourced those gems. Just recently, I learned that you walking out of my life has placed every single relationship with either friends, family, mentors, teachers, or even intimate in a spirit of fear. I moved through those relationships with a spirit of fear because you walked out of my life despite me being worthy. So the giving serves as the affirmation that I need to alleviate that fear, which is why I continuously go above and beyond for others. I sacrifice even if it hurts me, and I continuously place myself in positions to be let down. Thank you for that. You know how difficult it is for me to receive feedback or criticism from other men? Literally to this day, I've never admitted it, but each time it happens, it literally either makes my blood boil or makes me feel weak inside, because you were never around to do it. So I had to figure it out. I guess that's what you told my mom when you left. Figure it out. You mistakenly taught my family to figure it out. But it's funny, the backbone of my success is my ability to figure it out. Because the God that I serve specializes in using one's bad for his greater good. You know, I never got to thank you for those 2 completely random days that you magically popped back into my life. Maybe you left again because it was overwhelming. To feel the need to serve as my emotional punching bag as I jabbed until I got enough anger out of me to even consider building a relationship with you. Maybe you had other priorities. Maybe you didn't care. Maybe your father walked out of your life too. But I say that all to say that I accept you wherever you are and whoever you aren't. I forgive you. You know, I recently learned that you can be critical and angry about the things that you love. So here's also the first time I'm ever telling you this. I love you. Just know, if you ever do decide to come back into my life, I'll accept you with open arms. Why? Because I'm man enough to not walk out like you did. Happy Father's Day.
What? You're pregnant? Wait, we're having a baby? What? I'm having a son? I'm having a little boy? Oh my gosh, where's my book? Go get my book. Where's my book? Oh, you can't go get my book. I'll go get my book. I gotta get my book. Remember my book that I said I was gonna read to my son? Remember I said I was gonna read the scriptures to my son? We're having a baby? I'm having a baby boy? What? But whoa, but wait. Am I even prepared? Am I prepared to be a father? Do I know what it takes to be a dad? I don't have a book. Is there a book that tells you how to be a father? Hey mom. Do you have pictures of me and my dad from when I was a baby? No? Hey mom. I know. Do you have my birth certificate? Mom, why on my birth certificate where it says father, there's no name? Mom, there's no name. Mom, is this why he abused me, Mom? Is this, Mom, why he abused you? Hey, son, I can't wait. I can't wait till the day, son, that I get to hold you. I can't wait to sing to you. I can't wait to kiss you, son. Son, I'm going to have pictures of you all through the house, son. Pictures of you everywhere so everybody knows that that's my son. And son, I'm going to sing to you. Yes, son, I'm going to sing to you songs like, you are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything that I hoped for. You're everything that I need. You are so beautiful to me. You see, my father, he carried his pain more than he carried me. My father carried his pain, and his pain was revealed in the bathtub where he submerged my head to try to drown me. You see, he carried that pain through every broomstick, every belt, and every switch that hit my body. And I received his pain when all I wanted was his love. Son, today, you're going to know how important it is, son, for you to give to your community. You're going to know, son, how important it is to take care of your family and to be there for your children. Son, you're going to know what it means to have vision for your family, what it means to love your family. You see, son, today, I give you more than life, son. Today, son, I give you my name. Tarico Andre Satterfield Jr.
Fatherhood, the best hood that a man can claim. Grew up without a father, but I vowed never to be the same. My name's a part of my legacy. I'll never bring it shame. See, I'll be riding, just riding alone, with my daddy on my mind, like you gotta be kidding. How the hell you ain't here to see your prince do his thing? Sometimes I want to shed a tear, but no emotions from a king. Shout out to Dwayne Carter, AKA Lil Wayne. See, I never got the recipe, ingredients, or blueprint for this honor called fatherhood. My initiation into this hood wasn't planned, but it was fate. Fatherhood's the best hood to be a part of. Ain't no debate. As we approach your 18th birthday, I want to give you some encouragement, happily awaiting that date. First, I'll begin with a story. At your age, 17, I was sitting in the middle of the Civic Center, yes, the Civic Center, after your mom and I received the news that she was pregnant. So many thoughts ran through my mind. So many. And for a minute, I felt like my life was over. Little did I know that my life was just beginning, as I was now responsible for 2 lives, yours and your mom's. Prior to that, I had a dream like most young boys from the hood, of playing a professional sport. My sport of choice? Football, and I was damn good at it. Good enough to earn a collegiate scholarship, opportunities from multiple colleges. But as one dream started to diminish, in came another one. A dream of being the best father I could be, and already thinking that you would be a boy before we even got the gender. I would put my all into being the father I needed. So your success and seeing you grow up strong and healthy became my new dream. I remember being in the hospital with your mom the entire time to make sure I was fully there for her while waiting for your arrival. Remember holding you in my arms for the first time and being so excited of what the future held for us. Fatherhood, the best hood a man can claim. Grew up without a father, but vowed never to be the same. Your name's a part of my legacy. You'll never bring it shame. Sharing my name, I want to make sure that you knew early that you were royalty. And that's why I went with the second instead of junior. I wanted you to know you were our prince. Just you being born gave me purpose and understanding that life was no longer about me, but about you and family. We started a generational gift of first, being your first Santa Claus, your first coach, mentor, teacher, and role model. Though I've made plenty of mistakes in the past, most of my decisions I've made, even difficult ones, have been to make sure you were safe and enjoying your childhood. I would instill every bit of knowledge and wisdom into you that I wish I knew at your age, along with spending as much time with you as possible. From playing tag at the park to building snowmen and wrestling in the snow, we did it all. I loved our mini bus adventures. Even though long, every moment with you was worth it. Even cold days, me getting you on the bus and traveling from the north end to the south end to get you was everything for me. Seeing your face light up as I picked you up from the bus stop with snacks in hand can never be replaced. Being able to put that football and basketball in your hand and teach you both games will forever be with me as well. To this day, I still can't believe I was a part of creating you. I can't wait to see what the future holds for your journey into manhood. My hopes are that you will look back at this along with other life lessons and advice I've given you to use as a blueprint for when you become a father someday, thus extending generational gifts of love and affection. And I'll always be here, whether it be physically or spiritually, to help guide you through life. Fatherhood, the best hood that a man can claim. Grew up without a father, but I vowed
never to be the same. Our names are part of our legacy. We will never bring it shame. Thank you.